Welcome back to the Road to National series. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through an upper deload workout. So I started off with some easy triples at 120 kg on a regular bench press. Now, just to clarify, at the end of last week, I was considering skipping my dynamic lower session and I ended up doing that. I seem to amass so much fatigue over this 3-week block before this deload week, and the injury I was speaking of on my left elbow, a tender bicep tendon going up into my left shoulder, that was still bothering me, and I did actually try to do the dynamics, but it just wasn't happening that day. So it's important to listen to your body, and as annoying as it is, it's not like I didn't build any strength over the block. The block was great in total. My main injury, my right knee, is feeling fantastic. So I'm happy to just do this deload week now, prime myself and get ready for the next block. So my first accessory here was the JM press. So for my deload weeks, I go much lighter and higher rep. Now, to clarify, when I say I'm doing a deload week and a deload workout, a deload means doing less, not doing nothing. If you've been keeping up with this series, you'll have heard me say that a lot. Last time I was showing a deload week, because I think often people see a deload week, if it's programmed, as a time where they can just miss sessions or go in really, really easy. It is not the same thing. Resting and deloading are not the same. The purpose of a deload is to maintain the strength that you have built in your previous block, and it's to prime you for your next block. But that does not happen just by sitting around and completely resting. That does not happen by skipping gym sessions. So for me, what I do is I don't do my max and dynamic effort work. I still do all of my other training, and on my accessories, I go much lighter. So throughout this video, you'll see me do lots of sets of 15 to 20. Now, these are actually very hard. They're more bodybuilding style than my normal accessories. There's less neurological drive, but it's trying to pump up the muscles, develop the work capacity of the muscles, and increase the size of the muscles. So my second accessory here is the wide mag grip lat pull downs. These felt fantastic, just like the first exercise. Every exercise today felt great. And what I was just saying was, when you're doing higher rep, it can actually be much more painful and harder to push through. So when you're training to failure in the rep range of about 6 to 8 reps, what happens when you fail is you just run out of gas. Like if you've done 6 reps and you try and do a 7th rep, it just feels like there's nothing left in your muscles, but it's not particularly painful. Versus today's workout, doing higher rep, it starts to burn and you have loads of strength left in the tank. And something I once heard was that you should never let your mind fail before your body. Now, because it's a deload week, I wasn't pushing myself to absolute failure, but if I'm honest, I probably pushed harder than I should. It's the day after, at the time of recording this voiceover. My body isn't too sore, but it is a bit sore, and really, as I was saying, deloads are there for the purpose of priming you for your next training block. So you shouldn't really be trying to amass fatigue during the deload week. But for me, I find it really hard to dial back my training. I love training all out, and I find it really weird to stop before failure. It feels like I'm stopping halfway through a set. So I like training intense. I like training hard, and particularly on this first set of chest press, like on my second set, I think I can only get 13 reps. This first set I did 18 reps, but I just pushed hard. I was trying to get, 2 sets of 18, but I pushed hard. I probably should have done 2 sets of 15, but anyway. The next thing to quickly mention is I've got a new camera. So it actually films in 16:9 and films the whole screen. I hope you guys enjoy this. I am trying to work on making like the color and everything right. I know you're probably not watching this for the cinematography. You're watching it for the actual content. So it doesn't matter too much. But if the camera isn't perfect, please do just forgive that. So one quick thing I'll say about this chest press as well, you'll see that I've pushed my butt very far forward to the front of the seat and I'm arching my back quite a lot. That is not actually because of the strength benefits. I am stronger in this position, but the main reason is I find it targets my chest better. It makes the chest press more of a decline chest press, and if you look at the handles, they're actually going up when I press through the range of motion. So normally it's a sort of incline converging chest press, and I'd prefer it to be a decline converging chest press. So I just adjust my body position. So if you're ever in a gym and you want to change the angle of a chest press, you can literally just change the angle of your body in order to do that. Maybe you have just got a flat chest press in your gym and you're wanting to work on your upper pec, lean forward a bit more or keep your back completely flat to the pad, versus if you're wanting a decline press. For me, that's the area of my pecs I'm wanting to work on, is the bottom part of my pecs and the main fullness. My upper pecs actually proportionally feel good and strong. I'm actually fairly strong on incline presses compared to my flat presses, and I want to increase my decline chest press. I think that's going to have better carryover to my bench. So that's another quick tip for you if you are ever doing some sort of like a chest press. That also applies to flies and anything else. Changing the angle of your body position can substitute for changing the actual equipment. So the next thing to cover is these side laterals. These were pretty straightforward. I went a bit lighter than I normally could, but again, I trained probably way more intensely than I should on a deload week. I just love training hard, so trying to dial it back does not feel normal to me. And yeah, by the end, trying to load those dumbbells literally just up onto the rack felt so heavy. So probably pushed that a bit too hard, but oh well, what are you going to do? I'm enjoying my training and I'm still getting stronger, so it doesn't matter that much. I don't really have much DOMs in my shoulders the day after, so it feels fine. Now, I moved on to these concentration bicep curls. I started off with the right side here. Now, I probably should have started with the left side because my left side was the side that was feeling that slight niggle and injury last week in the bicep tendon. To clarify again, that feels way better. I skipped my lower dynamic session because when I was trying to do my dynamic deadlifts, there was pain shooting down that arm and through that bicep tendon still, I think just from the weight of the bar when deadlifting, even though the bicep, you should not be using your biceps when deadlifting. But that feels much better this week. So I started with the right arm, and right here, my friend gives me the shock of my life. He just like crept up and stood outside the door, waiting to be left in. That absolutely made me cack myself. But anyway, that was quite funny. But yeah, moving on to this left side now, it was feeling a little bit tender, but my left bicep is actually the stronger one of the two, which is why I normally train my right side first. That's a tip for you as well. If you're training unilateral exercises, so sides where you do one side of the body, then the other, it's very tempting to just do your dominant side first. What you should always do is train your weaker side first. So that's why I normally start with my right bicep on bicep curls, because my left bicep is actually a little bit stronger, and it managed to eat these up. But this exercise in particular as well, like what I was saying earlier in the video about it burning, I did sets of 15 on these bicep curls, and this first set provided so much acute pain. Like the burning in my left bicep there was ridiculous. But after the second sets, which are coming up now, like I have never felt in any of my muscles pain like this. And I think that's because biceps are very easy to isolate, particularly in this movement. When you're training your chest, like in a press, your triceps are also involved. If you're training like chest flies even, your biceps are isometrically involved. It's very hard to isolate the chest because of where the chest is. It inserts over your shoulder joint and lots of other muscles get involved, particularly if you're using your arms to grip whatever your chest movement is. That's going to involve your grip and your biceps and your triceps and other movements. However, when you're doing bicep curls like this, you can isolate the biceps so much that it is going to burn so badly. The other body part that I find this with is abs. Whenever you train abs, like whoever a newbie is, if you get them to do some sit-ups, immediately they will feel their stomach, versus something like the chest can be challenging for a newbie to actually feel and develop that mind-muscle connection. Biceps are very easy, and on this set particularly right now, now this left-hand side. The last like 6 reps were so painful, but in a good way. And I think that it is very important that you train hard and intensely. My natural desire to push to failure is a good thing. I would prefer to drop down the number of sets. For example, I'm doing 2 sets on all of my workout this week, and that's not just my deload week, that's my normal week. It is better to train more intensely and then adjust your volume. And the reason for that is intensity is what drives progress in the first place. It's what gives your body a reason to adapt. If you're training very meekly and easily, your body has no reason to get stronger. It can move that weight with its current level of muscle mass. And what you want to do is train intensely and to failure so that your body thinks, there's no way I can move that weight with my current level of muscle mass. I have to get bigger and or stronger in order to handle those weights. So that is why training intensely into failure is important. And once you get used to it, like me, it just feels like a set is not complete until you are failing. So the final accessory that I've got here are sit-ups. Now, these are probably the only accessory that I did train semi-smart, where I left a few reps in the tank, and I still have abdoms this following day. And the reason is because my abs are not conditioned. I did not train them for many years. I don't really like training abs. So that is why they pick up DOMs really easily, and you do need to take time to condition yourself to training to failure. So like I've just said, training to failure is fantastic and is important. If you're a newbie, take your time, build it up slowly. If you train to failure straight away, you're just going to obliterate yourself, and if anything, increase your chances of getting injured because your body is not physically prepared to train to failure frequently. So last few reps here, and then that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of that good stuff, and have a great day.